But speaking of which, Raw, they delivered, man, a phenomenal episode. We're on Bleacher Report here. So the matches that were lined up, you see them here. We'll talk about them. But the CM Punk kicked off the show. He hops out of his car, walks right to the ring. The camera follows him the whole way. And he just cuts this amazing promo about how they're in Hell in a Cell coming up at Bad Blood, McIntyre and Punk, and that, you know, he just basically rebutted to what Drew said last week. You know, I responded to each note, and then he just sort of seemed a little unhinged. He said, "Yeah, I'm going to make you bleed. I promise you're going to have." He's like, "I can't promise I'll kill you, but I promise you'll have to kill me for me to lose." And so I think that kind of spoils it that Punk's going to win. But I've had a career, and if this ends, so be it. If you're prepared for this to be the end of Drew McIntyre, then I'll see you in hell. Mish, you don't seem so into it.
No, man. I love CM Punk. You have to understand how long I've been a fan of this guy. I mean, I remember watching him back in Steel Domain Wrestling. Like, I go back with CM Punk. But this promo, as much as people loved it, I wasn't feeling it. This is not the CM Punk I know. And the response I got was, well, what do you want? The CM Punk that was kissing people's asses? And I'm like, yes, because it felt like he was lying to all of us. It felt like he was working everybody. But this weird dynamic of CM Punk being the grizzled veteran and talking about, you're going to have to kill me. I'm going to murder you. Like,
I hate that too.
It's like nails on a chalkboard to me when it comes to wrestling, and CM Punk knows better than that. So I don't know what this is supposed to build up, and I'm happy that so many people are into it. That's awesome. I was just like, this would be great if it was coming out of Bronson Reed. This would be great if it was coming out of insert actual killer wrestler here, like a Steiner, you know, like Braun Steiner. But coming out of CM Punk, it was odd, and it didn't sit right with me. Not taking anything away from the guy, it just wasn't his promo.
Damn, I like your take. Yeah, I didn't like that because when he started doing like I have to die or whatever, I went, yo, he's winning the match, because you're not allowed to say that. You can't be like, I'm gonna kill you, then not kill the guy.
Right.
You know, you can't be like, you're gonna have to kill me, and then like you die. You know,
that was over dramatic for a guy who sticks his feet firmly into telling truths.
Yeah,
and it was just weird. It's like, well, this is the furthest thing from telling truths. You know, it's I wasn't sure if it was.
You're goddamn right. I like that.
Punk cutting the promo or Phil Brooks, you know?
Yeah. Oh man. So we had a grudge match here. Sheamus versus Pete Dunne, friend of Dunne. I call him Dunne all the time.
Yes.
Yeah. Butch. So yeah, I don't know. It was a solid match, honestly. And then Dooner got the win over Sheamus, which I actually couldn't believe, but they're building Dunne up, man. He's got wins over Trick, Sheamus. They're kind of whatever they see in him. They're pushing him. Bring back the Cruiserweight title. That's what, no, people don't like that shit. But so solid match. And then backstage, we had Xavier Woods asking Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley, and Jey Uso to let him and Kofi handle their business with the Judgment Day. And Damian agreed, and we had throughout the show also Rhea thirsting over Jay, and we see some, dissension within the New Day, where teasing some split ups. We'll get to that as we go, but the seeds are being sown, and then this leads into also like the end of the show, which was a phenomenal ending as well. But anyways, your thoughts on the Sheamus Dunne match, and then just sort of the backstage stuff going on.
Sheamus Dunne is perfectly fine. I don't like the Dunne gimmick. I didn't see anything wrong with the Butch gimmick, but the fact that Butch thought that Sheamus was calling him bitch for the last 2 years, fine. But I don't like the Dunne gimmick, but Pete Dunne is fine as a wrestler. I have zero problems with what he does in the ring. I just think that the gimmick that he's with right now is just really far-fetched, a little bit of a stretch. But I like Sheamus and Dunne. They work well together. They're both willing to give it to each other. And I like seeing Sheamus back out in the ring too. So yeah, no, the match was perfectly fine. I had no problem with it. It leads to future matches between them, obviously the blow off of the pay-per-view. So as far as the Xavier Woods, Damian Priest, and Rhea Ripley and Jey Uso thing. Yeah, I mean, I guess I know you're going to talk about Xavier Woods in a second. But they've been, I can't help but think because they lost their 4th New Day member that a lot of things have been mixed up real quick, to put that as lightly as I can.
Yeah, the whole Odyssey Jones thing was that's weird how that just came and went. Like they waited so long to use the dude on TV. They used the dude on TV, and then 2 days later, they discover that, you know what I mean? A week later, they find this stuff out about him that's whatever. Like, I don't want to speculate on, but we covered it on the show already. But yeah, there was this Twitter account like forever tagging WWE and stuff and everything. And I don't know. I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, like, what happened? How didn't they see that before? How did that up happen? That is got to be, that to me is the biggest botch in the Triple H era, is that little whatever the happened with Odyssey Jones there for that few weeks. But whatever, it's in the past, and I don't know how they're sort of like tying the New Day into this Judgment Day stuff to salvage it and still get maybe Xavier Woods joins the New Day. I mean, the Judgment Day. Do you think that could happen?
Yeah, maybe that might be the direction. I mean, they've been playing with Xavier Woods joining up with Cross's group first, and now they might even play with him joining up in the Judgment Day. Xavier Woods just feels like he's all over the place. And yeah, the Odyssey Jones thing is just such a mess. And I feel so heartbroken for Big E above everybody else, because I guess that was his protege. Like, Odyssey Jones was the guy he was training in there. So it's like, oh my God, what a mess.
Who was training in there?
Wasn't it Big E? Big E was training Jones?
Like, for real? And because dude,
I thought it was more than, I mean, obviously on the TV, on the storyline, it was that way too, but I thought it was in real life too he was training.
Well, yeah, dude, because if you watch that show NXT or like WWE Next Gen or whatever, like Big E's down there scouting. He's helping WWE and Shawn Michaels like scout future talent. He probably would never wrestle again, dude, And so I totally believe that if they had Odyssey Jones working with Big E, like for shoot as well, not just storyline, I totally would believe that, because he is like helping determine who they sign and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So yeah.
And of course, obviously, who would know better what the New Day is than Big E? So it's like, if anybody I feel crushed for, it's got to be him, because he had to believe in that kid so much for all of that just to get wiped away after a week, But
over like what too? We don't even know. Like, I don't even know what it's. I don't know.
I've
I've
heard the rumors. I'm sure you've heard the rumors too.
Yeah, like, well, the person tweeting's just like, he beat me up on vacation a bunch, and it's like, well, okay, now are you a person? Like, it's like a fake Stan account, so it's like, how real is this? And then they must have looked into it more and found something out of nowhere. How weird is the timing that they just use him on TV? And then they discover 2 days later? Like, how didn't they know before? That's what it just was baffling to me. So not to all over WWE, I don't think it happened, but it's crazy. It's such like a wild thing, So I don't know, and I'm hoping the New Day can pull it together, because it's kind of like, okay, you guys are forcing this breakup now because the Odyssey Jones thing up, and it's like, all right, it's unfortunate, but I don't know, and just I don't know. Prayers for Big E, I guess. In all of this, because he's obviously got to be going through it. We had Natalya versus Zoe Stark. I'm kind of into Zoe Stark a little bit. I like Natalya; she's a legend in my mind. But it was just a solid match, like TV match, nothing super incredible. I'm not into the name Pure Fusion Collective. I don't think I ever will be. But they were
doing really bad with the names. What was the other one? Street Trash, and now they have the Terror Twins. WWE has some awful names lately. I don't know what's going on with
all the names have been used though. Like, what would you call your faction?
It's something better than Pure Fusion Collective.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'd come up with something better than that. Let's be honest. But yeah, so it is what it is, and so why is Stark losing here? So these are the notes from Bleacher Report, guys. Not your boy Phil Marks, but why is she not making a star for herself right now? She's a star of the future and someone who has more to offer the division than she is currently allowed to, even as a member of Pure Fusion. So this person here, Bleacher Report, they really want to see Zoe Stark break out here. During a backstage confrontation, Finn Balor revealed to Rhea Ripley that he was the devil on Dom's shoulder who pushed him towards Liv Morgan, which we obviously know, but I like that WWE pays it off for the audience by now having Finn admit that to Rhea at some point to her face in some fashion. It's not just like, oh, well, we knew and you knew, didn't you know? Like, it's, let's pay it off on TV. Anyways, and then Jey Uso interrupts, and his gear's looking fresh, dude. I'm going to cop me one of those new Jey Uso shirts with the pink on it and shit. Man. Oh, I love it, man. And he continued making moves on Mommy, headed to the ring, and Uso has what the kids would call Riz in spades. He is a star. Yeah, the crowd was so into his entrance. They cut to commercial. But before that, your thoughts on Natalie Zoe and your thoughts on, again, the backstage, the whole romance, love triangle quartet. I don't know.
Zoe and Natalia was a fine exhibition match. That's what it was. Bleacher Report has their own slant on a lot of these things.
Yeah.
Yes, Zoe should be a big star down the road, but I don't think she's there yet. And I don't think there's anything wrong with her having exhibition matches to keep her on TV. There's a lot of time on Raw right now, or at least when this was recorded with the 3 hours, that they still have to fill up, and there's nothing wrong with having those exhibition matches. The Pure Fusion Collective is a silly name, of course, and eventually she'll get to that point, but it isn't what it is right now. As far as the love triangle, I'm okay with it. I enjoy the fact that Jay's getting a part of Ripley's life, and I liked Finn coming out as almost more sinister than even Dominic. Like, Dominic has been the big heel for everybody up front. Obviously him screwing around with Liv behind Ripley's back, and then obviously, them beating her down multiple times over the weeks. But the fact that Finn came out face to face and said it was me all along, that was a big deal, because Finn Balor is he doesn't always feel like he's the biggest heel in the yard, but now he has a reason for Ripley to really hate him. Like, almost their relationship could have been salvaged before this point. And now that Finn came out and said, yeah, you know what? Dominic wouldn't have cheated on you if I didn't keep giving him Liv's number. Dominic wouldn't have cheated on you if I didn't tell him go hit that because that wants some. Like, now Ripley has a real reason to not just hate Dominic for being an idiot, but to also hate Liv, which, by the way, I don't know, Phil, if you've ever watched, but there's nobody in the business, in the wrestling industry, that takes a ring post better than Liv Morgan. I'm telling you, the way her head bounces off the ring post on the outside, it's a work of art. It is chef's kiss. Go back and watch any of those moments where Ripley throws Liv Morgan into the ring post, and you will see true selling. True selling unbeknownst to any other faction in wrestling. It is wonderful to watch. But as far as the love triangle goes, I'm all for it. It makes perfect sense. It got Finn over with being more of an asshole, more of a heel. Ripley now doesn't feel like she's still kind of lost in the sauce, if you will. She's got more of a clear head. She knows who her enemies are. There's no second guessing from her, even though obviously later on in the night we see them get beat down again. It'll come to fruition where Ripley and obviously Damian Priest get their own too. And Jey Uso kind of being the backup right now. Even making the jokes where Ripley's like, did you hear that? Do you believe that? He's like, what? You're out of my league? Like, he was making jokes about it, even though clearly the fans, us, and Jey Uso knew what she meant. But it's kind of like what the good guy does, is he sidetracks from the actual damage and tries to make somebody laugh and feel good for a second before getting to the meat of the problem. So the way this is all being developed, I mean, dare I say, Phil, it's being developed storyline-wise or creatively-wise by people that have had bad relationships.
Yeah, like, they get it, man. Same with the bracelet thing. Everyone, the bracelet, and people breaking up. It's like, bro, have you never lived a life, man? Like, you break. That's that everyone can relate to. Yeah. No one can relate to doing a power bomb to a cinder block to a hypodermic needle.
I've never licked a dude's blood, like,
bro. People don't relate to that, and invading baby cribs, sociopath, weird freaks relate to that. What normal, regular people relate to, who like watch sports and date girls and have kids or families or go on trips or whatever. I don't know, just people doing normal. Not saying like whatever, but you guys get what I'm saying. We're all sickos. We love wrestling, but at the end of the day, it's like, okay, this is what I can relate to, right? I've been in love. I've strived to be the best at something. I've failed. I've had this happen. I've taken the girl. I've had the girl taken or whatever. All of these things are things people can relate to. God damn it. It's like, how the have we gotten so far gone to where we don't understand why a lot of the stuff AEW is doing has been left in the indies, like, and the indies, even the indies started leaving a lot of that behind,
Yep.
Because, like, I don't know, it can work in small doses, or when you seek those things out, it's great, but if it's, I don't know, when you're putting on a show like this,
you also need to have people, Phil, that will absolutely go full effect into that storyline. Like Liv Morgan, honestly, I am not a huge fan of hers at all.
Me neither. I'm honest to God not. Like, but she's great in ring. Like, as far as the selling, I agree with you. Her selling's top notch. I don't know as far as you went there, Mish, but
oh no, the ring post thing is funny because every single time Ripley throws her into a ring post, she flies off of it. Like, it's amazing how hard she takes that ring post. It's pretty wild. But no, it's more of a joke because for Liv Morgan, I've never been a fan. Like, I've just never been on team Liv Morgan. I wasn't one of the one of hers. But for the most part, in this storyline, for whatever reason, Liv Morgan understands the assignment. Rhea Ripley understands the assignment. Dominic Mysterio understands the assignment. And they do they almost act like they're friends in the real world, that they're able to get this kind of emotion out of themselves for the show. It's great. You love to see it. Professionals being professionals.
Hell yeah. So Uso and Braun Breaker have like a promo. This is pretty good stuff, man. Breaker's like stepping above and beyond what I thought he was gonna ever be. I'm not gonna lie. Like, he's good on the mic, and he kind of plays to the crowd. Where's the dog? How he shouldn't be doing that.
Dog's at?
I know he should. I don't think he should do that if he's healing. I just don't. I think that's like, save that for when, because that natural babyface turn, because it happened in NXT already. That's why NXT shouldn't be on TV, dude. Because he already went heel babyface. He's already done a bunch of. I've seen it already. But when that natural babyface turn happens on the main roster, it's gonna be so big, dude.
Oh, he is so great. He's one of those guys that you rarely find that is a better baby face than a heel. People would rather cheer for should I say Steiner? People would rather cheer for Steiner than boo him. And I know he's the heel right now because he's playing the cocky, arrogant guy, but that doesn't matter. People want to cheer for him. And like you said, as soon as he comes out with "Where's the dogs at?" all you heard in that audience was people woof, woof everywhere. It was great, man. Great.
Yeah. So this match is going to go down at some point. And Uso took a shot at his NFL career. This is a good, I don't know, man. The crowd was so into it. Both guys, again, knew the assignment, as Mish said previously. And Jay is just over like Rover. And that shirt is so drippy, dude. I'm copping me one of those ASAP. So yeah, it was good stuff. And then, Breaker said, like, I didn't need my dad. I didn't need the name. You're nothing without your family, etc. So World Tag Team Championship match, New Day versus Judgment Day. Mind you, I need to say this too, Tessitore was amazing this Raw. At first, the first episode was okay. I think this is his third, right? So second one was, it was like, okay, he's starting to kind of come into it, but it's still not quite there. This one, he was on point, I feel, with everything. So third time's the charm, I guess. And him hyping up this match, him laying down the stats, like, yo, this is Judgment Day's first defense, etc. New Day, there's turmoil between them. Of course, these four stellar performers. This isn't like, I don't know. You feel like they're saving more. We could maybe revisit this match, before the split actually happens between Xavier and Kofi, but it's happening, man. We're going to get like an Xavier versus Kofi.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
No, it's coming.
What is it? What am I talking about? Program is the word I'm looking for. But anyways, so there, a bunch of shenanigans goes down. The LWO gets involved. So, I don't know. I think on a PLE, we could see this rematch between these two teams and see a lot more happen. A lot of people are tired of Finn and JD's reign already, even though they haven't even defended once. I don't know. I say leave the belts on them for a while yet. New Day, I want to see these Kofi and Xavier get in a singles program and feud each other, honestly. But the LWO come out. Xavier later in the show, like I think they go to commercial, they come back, so New Day loses, and then Xavier is like getting mad at the LWO, and he's like, "What da 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 da? Like, why did you guys get involved? You cost us the belts." Kofi's like, "Nah, dude, I told them. I was the one who told them to come out there, like, whatever." And then, Xavier, they get in just a tremendous back and forth, and it's emotional, it's powerful, guys. And Xavier's like, or somebody says, it'll say down here, sorry, somebody's like, we can't do it without Biggie. Since Biggie's been gone, we've been whatever, right? So, and then they're like, oh, really? Since Biggie's been gone, da-da-da. So, I don't know, man. Great stuff. It makes sense to the audience. If you've been fans of these guys for a long time, it's like, it's sad, but they'll reunite when they're going in the Hall of Fame. They'll reunite one time at a WrestleMania or something. Like, I know it sucks, but if Biggie's never going to wrestle again, you don't just have these two guys tag more. Like, they have more to offer, especially Woods, than he's gotten to show in WWE. So let them have a program. Let Woods get serious heel heat. Let him completely transform, turn into the Apollo Crews. Or the Apollo Creed, rather, like old school Austin Creed that we, let him be that asshole. Yeah. we already got one of those, but yeah. So I don't know your thoughts on all that storyline and just the match in general.
It's fantastic. I mean, it honestly is the end of the New Day. Whew. Like that's going to be a special. That's going to be the title of a special. Is the end of the day. Maybe not even the New Day, just the end of the day. Yeah. And you're talking about guys that have been in for 14 years themselves. So it's like they've been around for so long, and it's kind of a sad story because obviously Big E was the linchpin in all of this. Storyline wise, in the real world, it's sad because of what Big E's actually going through. But as far as the storyline goes, I mean, you're talking about a tremendous term of events that has finally come to this. And in a weird way, with them even trying to get in the fourth member, whatever, and that not working, isn't it almost more poetic that it didn't work out? Isn't it almost more poetic that all of this ends the way that it does after so many years of being that positive force, of being the consummate baby faces, no matter where they were, no matter what situation, whether they were champions, whether they were losing, fans always had a good time when they came out there. People loved them. They adored them. They had that Cena appeal without any of the Cena heat. They were the consummate good guys, and now it ends like this. Like this is the beginning of the end, if not the very end. I don't know, man. That's like pro wrestling in a nutshell right there. That's literally the story of watching an entire career with three men just finally come to an end,
Man, but wait till the packages, they do the promo packages, the promo battles in the ring, back and forth, where Xavier's like, or they show the lineage, and he's like, I carried the team, and all that old school,
No, of course.
I would love to see him come out and do his like Austin Creed sort of like dancing around, like sort of the alley kind of like I'm an asshole, like I'm whatever, like on my own I became the king of the ring. Whatever. When I was with you, I was just playing a trumpet. Like now they play trumpets for me and stuff. That sort of thing. I just hopefully that all comes about. I can't wait for that. And you have all of that background stuff of them being together and friends, and I don't know. And they'll hopefully have good matches against each other, right? So, anyways, though, so the video for the Wyatt Sicks airs as well, completed with a QR code. And then you follow it and it says, you speak, we follow. Okay, they're still doing that. And what do you think the Wyatt Sicks moves on to next?
I think they're going on tour with My Bloody Valentine, and then
Guar next week. And
I mean, I liked the idea of the Wyatt Sicks. Joe and I were very verbal about not liking the supernatural stuff. One of the good things that they did, especially when they had the match against American Alpha last week, was they clarified that they're not doing the supernatural stuff anymore, which I'm a huge fan of. I like them being a ragtag group of people together, but we need more. We need more direction. I need more than just a QR code, guys. Like they need to figure out, because they have these creative ideas. Now, obviously it's all inspired, by, the former Wyatt. But at the same time, it's like you guys need to develop more of a personality. We need a reason for you guys to be the Wyatt Sicks. You need to give us more of a reason why, because it's not exactly like it's a new extension of the Wyatt family. It's a completely different thing. And I feel like once they got past this Chad Gable thing, it's like, now what are you? So I don't know, man. Phil, I'll be honest. I'm really lost as to what they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I definitely don't know what would be next for them too. Like, okay, you beat Gable, so what's another group you could go after? Who's somebody they went after Gable? Why? Because he stopped saying thank you, is essentially, to boil it down in layman's terms. He lost his smile and stopped appreciating the people.
Otis,
and so yeah, so it's like, so then do they go after Xavier next because he is getting mad at Kofi, or do they go after people?
Six people on Xavier? Like, that's rough too, man.
Yeah, so it's like, what do they do? Like, who do they go after? Bronson Reed, who's on the screen because he's destroying Braun and he decided, I'm gonna go evil and stuff, but then do they beat this monster that they're building right now? I just don't know what the
but
fuck
the weirdest thing too, Phil,
yeah.
like you just pointed it out though too, them going after these monsters, the funny thing, or the ironic thing, and I don't know if it's intentionally meant to be so, but if you go back into their dais of like little creative clips and you know, Bo sitting there talking to Uncle Howdy and them going into the details of what the Wyatt Sicks are, they're supposedly all crazy evil monsters too.
Yeah,
you know, from Eric Rowan, and like it's weird. It's like, so you have monsters hunting monsters. Is that where we're at right now? Like I said, I don't understand what they're going to do with them. They need to figure it out fast, though.
They really, really do. And my suggestion: send them to SmackDown.
There you go.
And give LA Knight some people to fight, dude, because he needs some to fight. But yeah, dude. So next we got Strowman and Bronson Reed. I mean, what can we say? This was like the best. This was just two big kaijus throwing down. Yes. This was Godzilla versus King Kong. So the match starts. I think they're reinforcing the ring, whatever. They go, oh, we reinforced the ring or whatever, or we didn't get a chance to, whatever. Dude hits the rope or the buckle. The top buckle falls off, so the ring's destroyed. I wish I could just play the segment. You guys see out here, this is like a minute into the top buckle falling off the ring. Jonah's on the outside. Sorry, I keep calling him Jonah because I'm a mark, but Bronson Reed's on the outside.
Oh, Jonah's great.
Yes.
Sorry.
They're both called Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman. It's like, you know, then we said Braun Breaker. Right. You're all in the same show, dude.
Braun Breaker. They need to get away from the B guys.
Yeah, this is like my GM mode. Okay, switch dude to Steiner. Okay, and call one of these guys Strowman. Just call Braun Strowman, and just call Bronson Reed Jonah. Okay, and then we. Yep. Anyways, though, I'm just joking, but yeah. So then, you know, there's a choke slams hit. Dude's on the outside. You know, Bronson Reed goes outside. He lawn darts a fan who sold it like $1 billion too. Whoever that fan was, or if that guy was a worker, kudos, man. That was amazing. Lawn darts him at Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman goes down. Bronson Reed's like taunting or whatever. He's like working the crowd over by the timekeeper and all that. You know, out of nowhere, you got Braun Strowman runs around, does his spear move or his big shoulder tackle through the barricade. They go backstage. They're slamming. They do the spot again where Bronson runs off the thing and jumps through the table onto Braun, you know, while he's standing there, which is an awesome spot. They did it through the announce table last week, and then this week they did it backstage. And then you have I don't know, man. It's just amazing. The camera's going down. They go through a wall, and then the shot was perfect too, but it was so dangerous. You could tell they didn't plan this, because unless maybe they did, and like they just gimmicked it up Hollywood style. But at one point, like they go through a wall to the outside of like the building, and then like 2 seconds later, like the camera's sort of panning in on the frame where they're both tumbled out with everything just collapsed around them, and it's like 10 seconds later, maybe not that long, maybe 5 seconds later, a bunch of like toolboxes full of just start falling, like, and hitting the ground, like 3 of them, dude. And you're like, there's no way they planned that, because like you kill somebody doing that. So,
no, for sure,
dude. So it just that alone, it just added realism to it. You're like, holy dude, it's actually dangerous back there, you know, like, and I don't know. They go outside. bro, it was just phenomenal. Like, it was a no contest. This guy gives it an A+. Of course, this was like when you back in the day, like Kane and Vader wrestled, loser has to take their mask off. This is what it should have been. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is like what that should have been, but it wasn't.
It feels like the viciousness, the visceralness of these matches that these two have had. I mean, you start with the car spot that they had a few weeks back. Like, everything has been ramping up, Phil. Like, everything feels more dangerous, more vicious. Like, it reminds me of even Drew and Sheamus back during the COVID days when they would just beat each other bloody for literally exhibition matches, but they were just beating each other bloody. That's what Braun and Bronson feel like. There's just this two big guys that hate each other and want to physically beat each other. You're not watching this match to see a Texas cloverleaf. You're not watching this for a series of missile drop kicks. You're watching this to watch two guys beat the plunder out of each other, to actually beat coins, Sonic the Hedgehog coins out of their asses. It is fantastic. I love this kind of wrestling. This is what appeals to me. I want this to continue every week for the rest of the year. If I had my way, this would be the next match for every Raw, every SmackDown you could possibly put on. These guys perform very well together. I remember when they were first pairing them up, I wasn't sure what was going to happen because my big problem was these guys are moving too fast. My very original complaint was, man, Bronson Reed, I know he can move fast. I've seen him. I've seen him as Jonah. He can move really fast for a guy his size. He doesn't need to, though. And Braun Strowman is another guy. He can move really fast, doesn't need to, though. And I felt like on Monday we had bursts of speed and then slow down and pacing. And I'm like, wow, that's perfect. Because it made the impacts, the strikes, and everything else look gorgeous. And when they had to slowly get up, when they were getting up from the area around ringside and stuff like that, and it was taking them a couple minutes, I'm like, that's what it should be. You shouldn't be facing 400 pounds of meat and getting right back up in 2.2 seconds. Hell no. That
Let
shit
the audience digest it. Yes, as well. We get the chance to digest it and go, holy, look around and tell, you seeing this? Oh, I got to tweet this. Right. Are you seeing this? This is crazy. And then you lock back in. Oh my God, what's going to happen next? I love it, dude. It was mayhem, but in the best way. It was not hokey in any way. I love it, and I agree with you. And think about this, man. This match at Bad Blood, you got the Punk Drew. Like, you just got fiery feuds. You got Rhea and Liv, whatever's going to pop off there, dude. You just got fiery feuds leading into this Bad Blood. Just such a apropos name, and they have done such a good job of letting us know, like, that's the theme of the pay-per-view, is these heated rivalries. There's no Hell in a Cell pay-per-view anymore. You're going to get one here. There might not be an Extreme Rules pay-per-view anymore either. You might going to get that here. You're going to see Bronson and Braun flying through tables, and it's going to be awesome. So I don't know, dude. What a segment. Like, I couldn't blow it enough. And the fan throw. I typically hate like that, because it's too cheesy. You involve the fans. Right. This was not, man. It just
because they feel like they're so both of them feel like they're unhinged.
Bro, it feels dangerous, man. It's all just like, get out of the way. You see these two fighting, get out of the way. I love it.
That's like that old joke. Where does an 800-pound gorilla sit? Anywhere he wants. Like, that's what that match feels like.
Yeah, I love it. So, Sami Zayn comes out, cuts a promo, and basically he's going to fight Gunther now for the World Heavyweight title. Obviously, Gunther's going to beat him, I feel, and get his win back over Sami. It makes sense because Sami dethroned him for the IC. Then you get a bigger match down the line, whether it's for a belt or not, with these guys. I don't know. I'm just a little over the Sami Gunther stuff, but I get why they're doing it, and because you need to, like, Gunther doesn't have a lot of opponents either, so you need to kind of repeat some of these, and also, like, Sami has the win over Gunther. I know Gunther beat him before, so maybe this is the trilogy, but as far as for the title, like, it's like Gunther wants to get that one back, and he'll get it back, and they're elevating Kaiser through all of this, and it was just a good little back and forth, and let's see here. At least I have the balls to speak for yourself. at least have the balls to speak for yourself.
Right.
Zayn told Kaiser he's speaking for Gunther. And then they did a great little swerve here where Gunther comes out and he goes like, do you have something to say? And then Kaiser's like, I've wanted to say this for a long time. Yeah. And then he just turns around and knocks Sammy, stomps him out, which is hilarious and obvious what they were going to do. And but it was like the right, obvious, good thing. It was like, yes, don't even build. Like, that's just tension. We have the New Day splitting up. We don't need more of that over here. Like, just, like obviously Kaiser's loyal to Gunther. That'll never change. Even if Kaiser splits off as his own single, I could see that because they're on different brands and then they never be maybe one day they fight each other as down the line. Not for a while. I just see them being loyal to each other forever. I could even see them getting a tag title run one day. If Kaiser gets big enough and they treat the tag division like it seems like they're building it back up.
They are. Yes.
Yeah. So anyways, though, and then Priest tells Morgan that she has balls, something the rest of Judgment Day doesn't. And then I think, what did he call her? Like sucia, which means like dirty or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know, crazy that they be saying that in Spanish on WWE TV all the time. But your thoughts on the Sami Zayn Gunther stuff, and then just more Judgment Day on TV featured super prominently all the time, which is good for them.
It's kind of funny, the Sammy thing. I've heard a lot of people kind of say the same thing that you have, that you're kind of cooling off on Sammy, that his time is kind of like winding down. I'm actually getting more ramped up. Sammy's superpower is being able to be the consummate good guy in every situation. Like, he was funny when he was the heel running around with Paul Heyman wearing the Fidel Castro get. Like, I remember those days. And when he was with the Bloodline, it was still Sammy trying to be the consummate good guy, trying to repair relationships, trying to be the good guy. And it's funny that in this scenario with Gunther coming up, and I agree with you, let me just put this point blank, Gunther is going to murder. I mean, if CM Punk can talk about it, Gunther is going to straight up murder Sammy at Bad Blood. But I like the idea that Sammy is going after, Gunther and going after Kaiser, by trying to provoke the idea that, look, you know what, you deserve an equal opportunity too. You deserve to be, in the role of facing a champion. And when Gunther comes out, he just turns on him and blasts him, because here's Sammy's weakness. As much of a superpower as being the consummate good guy is, it doesn't mean when the two people you're talking to are heel through and through. Both Kaiser and Gunther are evil for the sake of evil. Like, you're not going to get him to budge. And it was so funny watching him get popped, because in my mind, it's like, that's what happens when people stick their nose in other people's business and they shouldn't. Like, that's what Sammy is. Sammy's trying to stick his nose into something that it doesn't belong, and he's going to get the kicked out of him.
No, you're absolutely right. I love it. And dude, Kaiser getting a big win over Sammy down the line. Hopefully, I don't know. I'm a big Kaiser.
I can see that being a good feud too between those two. Yeah.
Do they bring back the European title ever? Kaiser said it. I'm going to win the United States title and turn it into the European title. He said that late night before.
I hope he does. That would be so cool.
What if they just bring back the European title, period? Like, they just bring it back and like it's another belt? Or is that too many belts?
I mean, they could resurrect the old European belt, right?
Dude, what they should do is they should have every champion. So if you're the WWE champion, it's one champion. Now, I get it. You need the world heavyweight and the WWE. So, okay, you have both belts. All right, sweet. And then let's say you have the Intercontinental belt. Let's say you have the women's belt, the women's tag. Those champs all go to every show, like Undertaker back in the day.
Right.
And then you have one belt, the United States title on SmackDown. That's on USA Network. That is the exclusive SmackDown title. And that person's almost like the world heavyweight champ of your show, sort of thing. But right. And then on the other channel, Netflix, let's say you have the European belt or the Intercontinental belt is just the belt
or the Netflix title, Phil. Maybe they can bring in
bro. If they do a Netflix belt, I might just like, come on now, that's insane, bro. Think about like. Well, I don't know. We'll talk about the AEW TV. You got time? You want to talk about the AEW TV deal with your boy for a little bit?
That's fine. Let's
go, man. Okay. But anyways, this was pretty good. And then we have Bianca Belair and Iyo Sky, who had one of the best women's matches period. It was just a phenomenal match. TV matches you'll ever see. I feel like this is exactly what you tune into Raw to see, besides the kaiju battle. But this was just an amazing match, and yeah, dude, I don't even know what to say about it. I love Iyo. Bianca's really just won me over so much. If you guys have been listening to the show over the last year, God, she's won me over so much. And let's read what notes they have here. Testator revealed that Belair's only single loss came to Nia Jax in the Queen of the Ring tournament. That is a hell of a stat.
Right.
And Sky's tope suicida to Belair on the outside. The finish was extraordinary. Yeah, and also the suplex from like the outside where Belair like had her in the suplex and walked up the stairs and threw her in the ring. The whole thing, man, phenomenal. Your thoughts on this match and just the direction they're going with? And also, like, by the way, Damage Control sort of being presented as faces. Belair and Jade are faces, face versus face. WWE's sort of doing that now more. They're like, okay, we can do more face versus face, heel versus heel. I don't know if I like that, but it's working, man. This is awesome. So your thoughts?
I'm with you, because normally that shouldn't work. That shouldn't be the highlight for, a match, to have two faces together, unless it's been built up over a long period of time. Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, etc. You can keep putting names in here. Bianca Belair didn't have to prove herself. I think a lot of people sleep on Iyo Sky. Damage Control has not been a solid group for a while. Even before the departure of Bayley, it was kind of like there's just a bunch of people in a group. Dakota Kai doesn't really serve anything. Asuka's obviously injured. We know what she's going through, which is very sad too.
Right.
And Kairi Sane, it's funny because I remember when we were talking about Kairi Sane during her first run, me and Joe got a ton of flack because we're like, look, it's Charlotte is having some of the best matches of her career. These Kairi Sane injuries are a little bit more on Kairi. Mm-hmm. Kairi is not this great superstar that you all think, but Japan, it's like it doesn't matter. Kairi Sane has now been a part of Damage Control this entire time. What has she done of note? She is a footnote in this group, and I think people sleep on Iyo Sky, and I think it's unfair. And when you have matches like this, it's so surprising to see how many people go, wow, this girl is really capable. It's like, yeah. Don't you remember NXT? Do you not remember what she was doing in NXT? Don't you remember Poppy? Don't you remember Zoe Stark? Like, don't you remember the level that Iyo Sky was willing to do in these War Games matches? Like, Iyo is a fantastic talent. And I think matches with somebody that's equal on her level, like a Bianca Belair, is going to highlight both of these girls in a way that people have not seen before. So I'm happy that you loved it, Phil, and I'm happy that so many people really enjoyed it, because you're right. These are the kind of matches that we need to see on Raw. These are the kind of matches, the women's matchups that we need to see. And don't take it lightly. Even though what we saw on Raw was fantastic, somebody in creative also paid attention and went, holy, we got something. Let's find a program for these girls, because that's what it's going to be.
Absolutely. And then we had Dominic and Damian Priest throw down, and this was the main event of the evening. And the Terror Twins, you're laughing at the name. I don't mind it too much, but yeah, it is a little on the cheesier side. There have been worse ones, like Pure Fusion Collective, though. That one remains like the worst name maybe
Techno
ever.
2000, baby.
Jesus. So Priest and Mysterio throw down. Now I like that Priest is just sort of like fighting everyone to kind of get to Finn, but he's still dealing with this little rat Dominic,
Yeah.
And shout out Dominic and Rey Mysterio, who were both at the UFC Noche there. And they worked it into the gimmick. They're like, oh, they had to be kept separate, and they sat away from each other and shit.
Nice.
Yeah. And then Rey Mysterio gave Dana White a special mask. He unmasked for Dana. Wow. And then, he had a backup mask as well, though. So that was, I don't know, cool little moment there. But anyways, Priest throws down. So this match, Priest beats Mysterio, obviously, but it's basically about all the aftermath that really matters. Now, was this match solid? Of course, right? Like Dom's just super He's just, you know, nuclear heat, man. Everyone hates this guy. Priest is, you know, I've been saying it for like a year. He's going to be what his babyface run is going to be amazing. And just they see a lot in him, you know, they see tons in this guy. Wait till Bad Bunny comes back and they team up again, you know, that's going to be crazy. So I could see Bad Bunny showing up to help him against Judgment Day even, you know. So either way, Liv's on the outside doing her thing. She is phenomenal on the outside. I've really loved her. I'm not the biggest Liv fan, but I do love her in this new Judgment Day role. I love that the Judgment Day is an ever-changing group. They're still featured prominently as like a lot of people are like, man, I'm tired of the Judgment Day just like running around on the whole show. But just look how great these shows have been. They're featured like the most prominently because they're just a heel group of heels that we all want to see get beat up, dude. So next week they stood tall over. Basically, the match goes down. You know, Rhea and Damian get beat down, and the Terror Twins are beat down, and the Judgment Day are standing tall over them again. Is basically, you know, what went down, what this was all about, building up to Bad Blood. When is Bad Blood, by the way? This weekend or the next?
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. Hold on.
Here, let me look it up. WWE Bad Blood 2024. But what was your thoughts on this match and just the whole ending to the show? I thought it was phenomenal. Went off air beautifully. Oh, yeah. Testator's call was amazing. He hates the Judgment Day. I love it. And yeah, just your thoughts on it all.
Chaos and chaos and chaos. I do like the matchup. I don't like seeing the Terror Twins getting beat down every week, but I know why it's happening. Yeah. They want to make the audience believe that these two just can't hang with the Judgment Day. Obviously, we're going to have the He-Man and She-Ra moment where they stick their swords in the sky and just beat the hell out of everybody. But it's fun. It's overall fun. I've enjoyed the hell out of it. Dominic is just a true consummate heel. And you can't go wrong with ending the show with the Judgment Day storyline because it's still what a lot of people appeal to. Liv Morgan, once again, like we've said before, you know, not a huge fan of her, but she's done so phenomenal in her role as the sleazy, scuzzy next door girl, you know, as the woman's, the wife stealer, you know, like or the husband stealer, like she's just a man eater through and through. Dude, and she understands her role and she plays it perfectly. I really can't say that they have never matched a creative gimmick so well before until Liv Morgan. But yeah, no, overall it was a fantastic Raw. And really, other than the CM Punk thing, which, like I said, some people will disagree with me, some people may understand where I'm coming from with that, I thought the show was pretty damn good. Absolutely fantastic, Phil.
Yeah, I thought so too. And also, you know, speaking of mommy, they're building up to her hitting that riptide on Dom.
Oh, God, yes.
And but you know, Jey Uso comes down to help, and out of nowhere, Breaker just spears the soul out of him.
Yeah, that came out. I was not expecting Braun Breaker out there. I really wasn't. I was expecting Jey to make the save a little bit. Like, that was fine. Braun coming out there, I was like, oh, look at this. This was not planned for. So that was great.
Yes, and he just speared the soul out of Jey. That was amazing.